Hey everybody, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, coming to you from what is today a very spring-like western Pennsylvania. This is Thursday, I believe it's February the 9th, and it's in the afternoon, and it's actually supposed to be 66 degrees today. We were supposed to get some rain, which we ended up, we didn't. We've had very little snow this winter, only a couple inches. In fact, some people say we're in the middle of what they call a snow drought, but it isn't like we've been dry, because we have gotten quite a bit of rain over this winter, and everything's pretty soggy. So we are getting moisture in the ground, we're just not getting it as snow. And today, at 66 degrees is really warm when you figure that our average temperature for this time of year is supposed to be something like 37, 38, and around there. But in any event, I'm here to show you a project that I'm going to be working on today, and that has to do with the Ford F600 dump truck. Now, oh, and by the way, for those Oliver fans, here are my group of Olivers sitting here. And then there's one back there too, behind the 1650, and they're all sitting here in the middle of their winter rest, waiting soon here to get serviced and be all ready to do battle here whenever spring breaks. But in any event, I had been doing some small things to the Ford F600 dump truck here. You may recall, I don't know when it was, a couple weeks ago, I did a video on rewiring some of these marker lights, and that worked out pretty well. Since then, I replaced the headlights too. I didn't do a video on it because that didn't seem too exciting, and it was pretty easy to do, but the old headlights were really dim, so I put new headlights in. And today's video is also related to the lights. Back in, I guess it was October or early November, whenever Corey and I were finishing up his soybeans, the very night that we finished, it was about 10 o'clock, so it was completely dark, and I was coming home with the last load of beans, and Corey's dad, who had been running his combine that day, Corey's combine, was following me out from the rental farm where we were harvesting, and it turned out my lights went out on the dump truck here. And then if I jiggled the switch, they'd come back on, and then a minute or two later they'd go off again, and I jiggle the switch and they'd come back on. So Corey's dad realized I was having problems, so he followed me. It was only about 4 to 5 miles to my house, because I was just going to park the dump truck here in the red shed overnight, and or over a couple nights. That was a Saturday, I think, and take him to the elevator on Monday. But in any event, then partway home, the lights started to work perfect. And I'd had that happen one other time. Once when I was up the mountain here at my buddy Ben's place, and he was doing something to the truck when I was coming home, it did the same thing, but it just did it temporarily, and then it was fine and was good ever since, until that night in coming home from Corey's. So I think it may have something to do with the switch itself. If not that, possibly a ground, but I'm going to approach this by changing the switch first. So what I did, I ordered a new switch, and to try to make sure that I definitely got the right thing, I ordered the Motorcraft part. And so this right here is the starter switch. It's a module that goes into the dash right here, okay, in this position, and it plugs into a plug, and that's what makes all the headlights and tail lights and everything work. Okay, so what I have to do is get the old unit out and unplug it so that I can plug this new unit in. Now, I've never done this before. I was trying to find some videos on it, And I did find some Ford F600s of that era, but it seemed in everything that I saw that the dash was different. The dash, was put together and came apart differently than mine. So I wasn't able to find anything that helped me. And then just by accident, I happened to see a video. A video came up on YouTube having to do with changing the light switch on a 1981 F-150. And as I watched it, the dash was very, very similar to this one. Okay, so I think that I can use the same procedure that they used, which would be to take out the couple bolts here at the top, or screws. I think there are 3 of them, and then this piece ought to pull out, and then that would give me access here to this switch, because there should be a screw on the front that holds it into the dashboard. And then if I can take that nut off, then I should be able to pull the starter switch module out and get it unplugged and get the new one inserted in there, I hope. So like I said, I've never done this before, but we're going to try it. Now, what I've done to this point is not very much. I've obviously unhooked the battery cable, because I know that there's power going to that switch. And I've also taken off the 2 knobs, which you can see right here, because once I get this piece of the dash unhooked, I'm going to have to be able to pull that forward so that I can, get this out of the way and access that nut back there that holds that in place. So that's what happened so far. Getting these knobs off wasn't hard. Here's the knob that was on the lights themselves, and you can see that there's a little like a little cut in there, and there's a clip behind it, and all you have to do is take a little tool like this hook for getting O-rings. This little pick worked nice for fitting back into that notch and releasing that clip. So I got those off. That's probably the easy part of the job. And now I'm going to see about taking the front of that dash off. So I'm not going to record everything, because I think that would be boring, but I'll come back at times and show you the progress that I've made. Okay, so we'll be back. All right, and just to keep you updated, as you can see, I got the screws out, got the face of that dashboard up, and I was able to get, was a screw here that holds the button in place, and I have that now pulled back so that the old one is hanging right here. I just need to get a screwdriver or something in there and get that forced apart, because they're snapped together pretty tight. So once I do that, then I'll be able to get the new switch pushed in there. Okay, so we'll be back. All right, it's a couple minutes later, and with a little prying with a flathead screwdriver, I was able to get the old switch out. And this is the old switch. Now, when I took it out, there was a lot of dirt came out of there, and as you can see, some of those little tabs or electrodes that are sticking up are kind of corroded. So I kind of wonder if maybe wasn't making very good contact in there. So yeah, I'm glad I got that out. So I'm now going to snap the other one in and start the process of getting this put back together. Make sure that everything works. Okay? All right, we'll be back. All right, a couple of minutes later again, and as you can see, I have the switch back in. It actually went in a lot easier than it came out. I had a hard time getting it to work through all the wiring and everything, and getting it down to where I could access it to pry it apart. But The new one went in pretty easily, and I didn't have any trouble getting this stem through the hole. Some people take these stems off, which is just a matter of pushing a button on the bottom of the light switch, and that stem will come out. But actually, I left it on because it made it easier for me to be able to use that as a guide to help me be able to hit this hole and then slide this nut back on. So everything's back in place, and I'm going to start putting the dash back in, and we'll try her out. So we'll be back. Well, I think we're finished. I got everything buttoned back up, and now we'll give her a try, see if it works. So I'm going to pull out the light switch, and I think you can see down by the tractor tire on the left that the headlights are coming on. I can see the reflection on the cab of the 2110 that the marker lights on top, or the cab lights, are coming on. So the switch is definitely working. And also, since I was in there messing around, whoops, I gotta turn on the key. But the wiper still works, and the windshield washer works, so I would say that operation was a success. I'm really grateful that the gentleman that put up the video on the 1981 switch did so, because what I had to do was unlike what you're supposed to have to do for an F600, but for an 86 F600, but was almost identical to what he did on the 81 F150. So that was really a valuable resource. And I hope, maybe down the road that somebody will find this video of help too. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, I hope that you'll hit the like button, and I hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel. If you have done that already, I appreciate that very much. This is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, saying, we'll see you next time.